Welcome to the future of development, or as I like to call it, the end of the lonely coder era. On February 5th, 2026, Anthropic dropped a bombshell alongside Claude Opus 4.6 Agent Teams. If you've been using Claude Code, you know it's a powerhouse solo assistant. But Agent Teams changes the math, literally. We're moving from a single assistant to a coordinated AI development squad. Instead of one agent grinding through tasks sequentially, you can now spin up multiple Claude instances. They talk to each other, share a task list, and tackle different parts of your codebase in parallel. Think of it like hiring a small team of senior devs instead of one overworked freelancer. It's a research preview, so there are some rough edges, but the implications for complex projects are massive. So what are these agent teams actually? Imagine you're building a CLI tool. Before, Claude would look at your UX, then your logic, then your database, one after the other. Now, you describe the team you want in plain English. You can have one agent on UX, one on architecture, and one playing devil's advocate to find security holes. They aren't just running in parallel, they are communicating. They can challenge each other's findings and share discoveries without you acting as the middleman. The architecture relies on three pillars. First, the team lead. That's your main Claude code session. It delegates and synthesizes. Second, the teammates. These are independent Claude instances with their own context windows. Finally, the shared task list. This is the secret sauce. It tracks pending, in progress, and completed work. It ensures two agents don't accidentally overwrite the same file or waste tokens on the same bug. Setting this up takes about 5 minutes. You just need to flip a flag in your settings. JSON, or set an environment variable. Specifically, Claude code is experimental is agent teams equals 1. Once enabled, you just talk to Claude. You tell it, create an agent team to explore this architecture from different angles, and the engine starts humming. If you're using tmux or iTerm2, you can even watch them work in split panes. This is honestly a bit surreal to see in real time, but the real question isn't can you use it, it's should you. This is a token-hungry beast. A 5-person team is going to burn roughly 5 times the tokens, sometimes up to 7 times due to coordination overhead. And it's brilliant for parallel code reviews, debugging competing hypotheses, or building multi-module features where the backend and frontend can grow simultaneously. However, if you're just fixing a simple CSS bug or doing sequential work, stick to the solo mode. You don't need a board of directors to change a light bulb. We also need to distinguish these from subagents. Subagents are like interns you send on errands. They report back to the boss and don't talk to each other. Agent teams are colleagues in a meeting room. They debate, they collaborate, and they self-coordinate. It's a higher level of autonomy that requires a higher level of trust and a bigger API budget. Now, let's talk about the ultimate stress test. To prove this wasn't just a gimmick, Anthropic researchers had 16 Claude agents build a Rust-based C compiler from scratch. And not just any compiler. This thing is capable of compiling the Linux kernel. It's a 100,000 line monster that passed 99% of the GCC torture tests. The cost? Just under $20,000 in API fees. It used 2 billion input tokens over 2 weeks. Now, for most of us, 20 grand is a year's worth of coffee and hardware, not a 2-week project budget. But as a proof of concept, it's staggering. It shows that when you decompose tasks correctly, these agents can build systems of immense complexity without human intervention. The key takeaway from that experiment wasn't the compiler itself, but the lesson that task decomposition matters more than just throwing more agents at a problem. Speaking of costs, let's break down what you'll actually pay. There isn't a team subscription fee. You pay for the tokens each teammate uses. For API users on Opus 4.6, that's $5 per million input tokens. If you're on a Claude Max subscription, you'll burn through your limits much faster. Pro users might find themselves hitting caps within hours. My advice? Start with small teams of 2 or 3. Use Sonnet for the teammates to save cash and keep Opus for the team lead who does the heavy thinking. Of course, Anthropic isn't the only player in the room. Just 27 minutes after Opus 4.6 launched, OpenAI dropped GPT 5.3 Codex. The rivalry is getting intense. While Claude leads in context window, 1 million tokens for Opus 4.6, Codex is sitting at 400,000 but winning on pure speed and benchmarks. Codex scored 77% on terminal bench compared to Claude's 65%. The philosophical difference is interesting. Claude's agent teams are built for autonomous peer-to-peer coordination. OpenAI's Codex excels at interactive steering, where you collaborate with the AI in real time as it works. If you want a team that works while you sleep, Claude is likely your pick. If you want a partner to pair program with at high velocity, Codex might have the edge. But let's be real, this is an experimental research preview. There are limitations you need to know before you dive in. First, there's no session resumption for teammates. If your terminal crashes or you need to rewind, those in-process teammates are gone and you'll have to spawn them again. Second, task status can lag. Sometimes an agent finishes a job but forgets to check the box, leaving the rest of the team waiting. You also can't go recursive. Teammates can't spawn their own sub-teams yet. So, what's the final verdict? You should enable agent teams today if you're working on complex, decomposable tasks and your budget can handle the multiplier. It's a genuine architectural shift. We are moving away from AI helps me code toward the AI team codes for me. It's not a set it and forget it tool yet. You'll still need to babysit the lead agent to make sure it's delegating instead of trying to do everything itself. But the direction is clear. Start small. Run a parallel code review with 2 agents. Watch how they interact. Learn the patterns of decomposition. The AI coding race has turned into a full sprint, and whether you're Team Anthropic or Team OpenAI, the winner is the developer who knows how to manage a digital workforce.